This Alex Meyers situation has really exposed the sexism that's rampant on YouTube. And remember, sexism affects men only. Right. Now, this has really hurt his channel because you'll notice the last video he uploaded was 9 days ago. The one before that was 11 days ago. The one before that, 12 days ago. See, these are regular uploads, and all of a sudden he stopped uploading, right? He's trying to keep his head down and remain quiet and hoping this will go away. Well, Alex, it won't go away, dude, because all the man haters like this loser here, August the Duck, they're coming out of the woodwork to come after you, right? They're coming out of the sewers, right? Now, notice August the Duck, of course, has over 2 million subs. YouTube is a sexist platform, and the algo boosts guys like this. Let's respond to this guy.
Guys, I honestly don't think that there is any better single method to blowing up on YouTube than just hating women. We've seen
Blatant lie, of course, right? So man standing up for himself and recognizing the misandry that was in that evil obsession movie, that's hating on women, right? Of course, also what these guys say is projection. Women hate men, not the other way around.
time and time again, all of the biggest YouTubers, all the biggest people on this website seem to secretly hate women, and eventually they just can't keep it a secret anymore. They've got to tell people. Is that why I only have 2 million subscribers? Is it because I love everybody? I should work on.
Wow, only 2 million subscribers. So this man hater, this sexist, he believes he should be even bigger. I suspect he's a psychopath.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a brand new day, which means somewhere out there, a YouTuber has just outed themselves as an undesirable individual. It's like clockwork. Recently, there's been a bit of an uptick in the drama.
I don't need to be desired. I just have to be on the right side of history, dude. I just have to stand for justice. That's better than being desired.
In the YouTube movie
Guys like you wouldn't understand.
Review community, which is surprisingly a niche here on YouTube that is more drama-filled than you might expect. But recently, I feel
Drama-filled, right. Well, this guy's getting in on the drama, right? This grifter. So notice when an issue is important, it's called drama to these guys. It's drama until it hits them, then it's important. Right? If this is only drama, dude, why would you even bother making this video? No, this is important to you. A man has spoken up and called out the sexism in that movie, and you're running for damage control.
like we've hit some all-time highs after Alex Meyers, one of the biggest movie reviewers on the website, released a video with a god-awful take on the recent horror movie Obsession. Now, if you've never seen...
No, his take wasn't perfect, right? But he did call out what was going on in that disgusting propaganda piece.
The movie Obsession, I would recommend skipping out on this video because I think it's one of the best horror movies made in the last 10 years, and I think everybody should go see it. It's a fan.
So you want people to go see The Birth of a Nation then? That's what Birth of a Nation was. It was a well-made hit piece against the black man. And you're going one better. You're saying, I want everyone to go see this hit piece against the common man. By the way, Doc, you're included in that. Matter of fact, you're even better target than the rest of us because you're obviously a male feminist, and women hate male feminists more than they hate the common man.
Fantastic movie, and I feel like you are doing yourself a disservice if you let it get spoiled for you at all, but especially if you let it get spoiled by watching this dog shit ass Alex Meyers video. With that being said, if you haven't seen the movie,
Translation, he called it out.
And you are choosing to forego my warning, basically, it's a movie about a guy who makes a wish, and the wish is that the girl he has a crush on would love him more than anyone else.
Yeah, so, by the way, that wish is the wish of the common man. It's the wish women want to be loved, right? So he's just wishing for something that everyone wants. For it to be bad, that would suggest that men did not deserve love. And that includes you too, August the Duck, since you're a man. Do continue with this BS.
And the wish comes true, and it's never explicitly stated exactly what happens, but the idea is that something sort of replaces the girl that he has a crush on, whether it be like some sort of
So
entity.
the wish didn't come true, did it? He didn't wish for her to be replaced. He wished for her to love him. Everyone wishes to be loved. That's why you've got this YouTube channel and you're supporting a hate movement. You wish to be loved by the opposite sex. It's a failure, of course, Doc, because women, again, despise male feminists. They see you as lower than this character you're showing here, this bear character.
Or whatever is never like fully stated, but something replaces the girl that he has a crush on, or more so kind of takes over her and starts to control her and makes her act in strange ways that, to whatever is controlling her, is showing this guy that she loves him more than anything. All the while, the real girl, whose name is Nikki, is kind of like a spectator in her own body. It's clear that she's still like a part of her original body, but she doesn't really have control over herself anymore, and it's a move.
Yeah, and one of the guys pointed out in the Pro Male Collective that this trope of making someone fall in love with you through magical means, it's been done in the case of a female character wishing it on a male character, and it's seen as quirky or lovable. There's all kinds of stories with the woman who gets a love potion for the man she wants. It never gets demonized like this. So again, guys, sexism is strictly a male problem, and it abounds on YouTube.
That tackles concepts of like consent, codependent relationships, and it's a movie that sparked a lot of online discourse because it's a movie where the villain and the antagonist are two different people. Obviously, the antagonist of the movie is the entity that controls Nikki, but the villain of the movie is the guy who made the wish.
No, it's the people making videos like you. You're the villain. Right? The man who made this film is the villain, right? The guys who made Birth of a Nation are the bad guys. The guy who made Obsession, he's a bad guy.
A guy named Baron or Bear. Because about halfway through the movie, it is made very clear that Bear realizes that the wish has worked. He realizes that Nikki is not really Nikki and she's being controlled, and he doesn't really give a shit. He continues to take it.
Yes, he does, dude. You're a bold-faced liar. That's why I called you a psychopath or a sociopath. Maybe you're just a sociopath. But only a sociopath would tell such a bold-faced lie about what went on in that film.
Advantage of the situation and prove himself to be a massive evil piece of shit.
No, he didn't, dude. No, he didn't. You didn't watch the film, or more likely, you saw it and you're just lying your ass off. You're just lying. This is pathetic. Like, we're only 2.5 minutes in. I don't know much more needs to be said about this. I'm going to show a fantastic post from Exercise Delicious on my subreddit, where he talks about the film Obsession. He breaks it down. Now, one of the things he brings up is the involuntary enslavement fallacy, dismantling the predatory intent, right? The foundational argument of Bear's status as a villain hinges on the idea that he actively chose to enslave Nikki. The argument demands that we retroactively apply supernatural logic to a character operating in a non-magical real-world mindset, right? When Bear purchases the One Wish Willow, it's represented as a cheap plastic $7 novelty toy at a local crystal shop. In a rational world, no human being expects a stick to actually harbor cosmic reality warping entities that can hijack the human soul. To suggest that Bear is predatory mastermind because the cheap toy actually worked is a massive narrative reach. Right? Once the magic takes hold, Bear does not celebrate this enslavement of Nikki. Instead, he immediately thrust into a waking, inescapable nightmare that he spends the rest of the runtime desperately trying to escape or undo. So, what you said is a bold-faced lie, Doc. You are a liar.
Obviously, it's all a bit more nuanced than that. There's a lot of details you're missing out on if you haven't seen the movie, but that's the general idea, and with you knowing that, you might be...
It's not nuanced. This is a simple man-hating film. There's no depth to it.
Be able to understand why this video has permanently tarnished Alex Meyers' reputation, because the angle that he chose to take in his movie review of
was a truthful one, right? And what can I say? For him to have kept going, to be untarnished, he would have to tell a lie. He would have to lower himself to what you are, Doc. Hopefully he never does that.
Session basically boils down to him thinking that the internet is just being too hard on Bear. Yeah, it's a very strange video that leaves you...
No, the internet isn't being hard on Bear. I said that's why it wasn't perfect. The internet is full of sexists, and they're out to attack the common man through this hateful propaganda piece.
The impression that maybe Alex Meyers kind of relates to the character of Bear, or, you know, sort of sees himself in that character. It's just a lot of, like, incel-adjacent, woman-hater-adjacent bullshit, and we're here to talk about it.
No, you're the incel, dude. You're the incel. Alex here, he actually stood up for himself as man. No, you are the incel. Only an incel would become a male feminist and would support hatred towards his own gender to try and scoop brownie points to people who hate his guts. You are the incel, Doc.
Original video is about 25 minutes long, and then he made a follow-up, like, apology, non-apology video that's about 5 minutes, so there's a lot to go through. We're not going to waste any more time.
Yeah, that was stupid of him, because that's throwing chum in the water to the sharks. The reason why it was a weak-ass apology is because he wasn't in the wrong. You psychopaths are. Who am I calling psychopath? You Klansmen are. That's what you actually are. You sexist Klansmen, every one of you who have attacked this guy on the internet, you need banishing from the internet. Just like the KKK. Racists don't belong on YouTube, and neither do you sexists.
Again, please subscribe.
It's an attempt at a good faith, nuanced look at the fictional movie.
Wow. What a beggar. He's got over 2 million subs, and he's still begging people to subscribe.
Obsession and the characters therein, which will probably upset some of you for some reason.
Always a good start to a video when immediately the guy's like, this is probably gonna offend you, but just know it's because you're wrong.
Really?
Well, he's actually right about this, right? I wouldn't start off with that. I wouldn't say this is going to offend you. I'd just say, you people are disgusting, and I'm calling you out.
Shit! God damn it!
Are you okay?
No, I just dropped my crystal necklace down the drain.
Oh, no, Crystal necklace! Bear, get out while you still can. But then again, Nikki is a hot Latina, so one can only remain strong for so long.
Okay, so I wouldn't call this like the main problem with the video, but I do think it's definitely something to at least bring up given the, subject matter of what he's discussing. There is a lot of this throughout the video where it's just like him reducing the two female characters to nothing but stereotypes based off their appearance. Lots of like, oh, she's a crazy Latina crystal mommy, oh, she's a septum girl kind of shit, just jokes jokes that are very telling of how a person views women. And like, I guess it'd be one thing if it was just a joke or two here and there, and also
So he's saying this is a hot woman and I want to be with her. That's every guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no problem whatsoever with that. Women talk about us all the time. Women say, hey, that guy has a hot body. So, dude, you're saying nothing here.
of this video
Sorry, sexist. You're saying nothing here.
wasn't him basically like trying to go to bat for a person who essentially raped somebody later in the film, but all the context.
No, he didn't, dude. He didn't rape anyone in that movie. You are again a bold-faced liars. All you feminists are bold-faced liars. Your whole movement is based on lies. You can never tell the truth.
Together makes it look not very good, in my opinion.
Anything else?
I think he looks fantastic because he's telling the truth.
I'll get a pina colada.
Pina colada?
Don't make fun of my drink. What?
I like a man who's in touch with his feminine.
Hey, whoa, didn't ask your opinion, Nikki. So here we get a look at who Nikki is. And she seems like she's kind of one of those girls who's like those like...
Hey, did you notice something? This film was actually right, though. Gender roles are demanded by women, right? This guy ordered herself what she considered a girly drink, and she insulted him. Oh, your feminine side. See, women like a masculine man, Doc. Masculinity is a slave caller. When a woman calls a man masculine, she's saying she's a good little servant boy. So she turned around, she insulted this guy. Remember, women are not for equality. Men are.
ballbuster types, you know, she's always like, ha, bitch can't handle all this. I've never met a guy who can keep up with me. And then they just lay there like SpongeBob. Also, again, somewhat ironic, but earlier Bear was like, you want me to be mean to her? Why would I do that? But then she's literally doing the same thing to him right now, and it's clearly working, so.
There you go. He did call it out. Wow, right? So this is the great evil, right, that you're talking about.
Interesting.
Okay, so I mean, it's just shit like this, and we haven't even managed to get to the portion.
So calling out double standards between the sexes, it's shit like this. Like, this guy should know his place, right?
The video where it's like, hey,
This guy showed so much integrity compared to guys like you. What's your face look like? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My God. For you, Doc, he's so much more integrity, and, shows so much more integrity than you.
hey, Bear's actually kind of a stand-up guy, and this is very telling of this guy's worldview. So from a woman...
It's not a worldview. It's an observation of reality. He is a stand-up guy, right? That's just a simple fact. And speaking about the double standards, again, Exercise Delicious, he says, the love spell double standard, from girly mischief to masculine kidnapping. To understand the hypocrisy of how the film and its critics, that includes you, Doc, pathologizes Bear's wish, one must examine the vast history of the love spell trope in pop culture and real-life feminine aesthetics. For decades, the desire to magically capture and ensnare and manipulate a man's romantic interest has been framed as a harmless, cute, entirely acceptable feminine behavior. Real-world witchcraft as consumerism across platforms like Etsy, Pinterest, and TikTok, thousands of women actively buy and sell obsession spells, love potions, and honey jars designed to explicitly strip a target man of his romantic free will. This is marketed under aesthetic of girly manifestation and a female empowerment. It is treated as quirky, harmless, and a spiritual hobby. So, Duck, women are exercising this in real life, or trying to. But you're getting angry over something that is merely fictional.
making a playful joke to her friend that was clearly received well. That's enough for him to tell that she's a ballbuster who thinks that nobody can handle.
No, she was making a jab at him. He was calling him feminine. And women say over and over again that they don't like feminine men. They want a masculine man, dude. They don't want you. Where's your face? They don't want you, Doc. They want a masculine man. That's not you. So she insulted him.
Handle her, but she just lays there and does nothing when having sex with a man. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You're literally just pulling shit out of your ass to talk shit on a woman. And then he gets...
No, dude. Projection. You're pulling that shit out of your ass to bash a man.
Even more confusing because you immediately...
Remember, every accusation of a feminist is a confession.
Bring up the whole thing about how Ian told Bear to be like playfully mean to her, implying that you like recognize what's happening here, which is just like playful joking, but you still take the opportunity to...
Yeah, he said, why don't you just be playfully mean? And he rejects that. Right? So Bear is the good guy. But good guys finish last because his friend suggested that because he knows women don't like nice guys. That's why this film is aimed at nice guys, Doc. Women detest nice guys.
Use this as a reason to call her a ballbuster with a self-inflated ego. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So Bear's choices.
Well, women's egos are self-inflated. Or, well, they are inflated, not just self-inflated. Because their life experiences is easy mode. They have men hitting on them all the time. So their egos are inflated.
Crystal Mommy or Septum Girl. So this dude never stood a chance. Like, you might as well put that chastity belt in your Amazon cart right now, my dude.
Okay, so I promise eventually we're going to get to the meat and bones of the video, but I just keep seeing shit like this, and it's just, again, very telling. A guy sees a woman with a septum piercing, and his first thought is, I bet the guy that dates her has to have his dick locked up. It's like, these are not normal thoughts, my man. Your mind...
No, he's just making observations, right? Of what he sees in reality, dude.
Mind is rotten.
I can't help it. You have to deny reality to push your bullshit narrative.
You are revealing the kind of person you are and the type of shit that you spend your free time doing.
So as you can see.
What do you mean shit that he's doing? What do you mean? Now, notice he's trying to imply something, but he can never come out and say it. The typical action of a disgustingly dishonest person.
Nikki's starting to act a little out of character. She's saying things that don't make sense. She also demands to go over to his house to spend the night. And, you know, to Bear's credit, he's not immediately jumping at the chance to take advantage of her or whatever. Like, he gives her private...
Actually, he wouldn't be taking advantage. If a woman says, I want to bang you, then why not? They're essentially saying, even if a woman wants you, you shouldn't be allowed to have her. You should be denying yourself any pleasure. That's how much society hates men. And again, this is why I said Alex's interpretation, or I should say his review, is not 100%. I would never say that this guy was predatory.
In space, he doesn't want to make it weird. He turns around when she takes her shirt off. And, like, based on what people were...
Why would he turn around? Why would that be weird? Again, even Alex has it wrong. Men want to see women naked. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to be a complete troglodyte. Someone who is suffering severe self-loathing to say that that's wrong.
Saying about this movie online, I expected Bear to be this like horribly angry, misogynistic incel dude, right? But like up until this point, he's just some super socially awkward loser who has a crush on a girl and he uses a $7 wishing toy that he...
Yeah, well, this is what he's bringing up too. See, the movie can't make him an actually bad guy because he's supposed to represent the average man on the street. So if they make Bear an actually bad guy, the guy in the street will say, "Hey, I agree with that. I'm not this guy." The movie wants the male viewer to know they mean him.
Assumes it's not going to work, and then when Nikki starts acting like this, he's very confused and put off by it.
Okay, so here's where we start to get to the main issues with this video, and I feel like there's a lot wrong with what he just said here, and they are things that will continue to present themselves throughout the video. First of all, a guy not taking advantage of a woman who appears to maybe be on something, or is just clearly behaving in a way where it seems like her psyche is altered, is not something to give someone credit for. That
Dude, right? See, it doesn't matter. Hey, everybody, it doesn't matter. The guy's not going to get credit no matter what. So if he did bang her, he's bad. If he doesn't bang her, he's bad. Also, Doc, men and women go to the bar and get drunk and have sex with each other all the time. So yes, there's nothing wrong with that. People do it purposely to let down their inhibitions. You don't mind it if a woman bangs a guy when he's drunk.
That is just what you do. You do not get credit for not taking advantage of somebody who is not fully there.
This Duck guy here, who'd bang a drunk woman in a heartbeat, he'll take whatever he can get. I guarantee that.
So the fact that he feels the need to go out of his way to give Bear credit here at all is insane. Secondly, he says this shit about how like he expected Bear to be this horribly misogynistic person based off reviews.
Misogyny doesn't exist either. Misogyny is everywhere. This platform proves it. This guy gave a milquetoast pushback to this evil hate piece, and he's being swarmed by sexist cretins like you, Duck. Proof that misogyny is everywhere. Misogyny doesn't even exist.
And then he says, but up until this point, he's been fine. This is something that he does throughout the review that drives me fucking insane. He continuously says, I read reviews, I saw...
You're not driven insane, dude. You're loving this. You're saying, here's the little bit of the ammunition I've got to support my lies.
I saw people say this, I saw people say that about Bear, but up until this point, he's been okay. Which is like saying...
But the thing is, your lies are still transparent. Any man who isn't 100% self-loathing, 100% man-bashing, would look at that film and see exactly what it is.
You know, Michael Myers kind of gets a bad rap, but he doesn't kill his sister until like 3 or 4 minutes into the movie. Up until 3 or 4 minutes, he just
now
seems
listen to this cretin. He's trying to equate this young guy with Michael Myers. Right.
like a normal kid. You'd think a guy who reviews movies for a living would know that when a person talks about a movie that they just watched, they're talking about the entire fucking movie. And if you watch the entire
Yeah, he did, you lying sack.
movie, you learn who Bear is, you learn his morals, you learn his values, you learn how he has behaved. So it just drives me insane.
Yeah, we did, right? Bear is just an ordinary average guy that was suffered severely bad luck and found a magical item, a monkey's paw. That's what this magical item is. It's a monkey's paw. It inverts the wish so you don't get what you want. He didn't get what he wanted. He didn't get loved for who he was, did he?
And it makes no sense really whatsoever when his main defense for Bear seems to be, oh, I don't really understand why people are calling him a villain or a bad guy or a misogynist. He doesn't act that way until like halfway through the movie. And again,
No, he doesn't act it like it at all. I can defend him, no problem, because he's the victim. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring it to Exercise Delicious again, right? Textbook domestic violence, right? The empirical reality of female perpetrated coercion, right? Extreme isolation. Nikki violently guards Bear from his social circle, ultimately murdering their mutual friends, Ian and Sarah, to ensure Bear has no external support system. Nikki is the villain here, not Bear. Psychological gaslighting. Nikki subjects Bear to erratic, terrifying outbursts, such as screaming hysterically and stabbing herself in the face with a broken bottle during a party. This forces Bear into a state of hypervigilance. Walking on eggshells. Animal cruelty as coercion. In one of the film's most stomach-churning sequences, Nikki literally feeds Bear's dead cat to him. Captivity and threat of violence. Bear is effectively held hostage in his own home. So, Doc, the victim here is Bear. Bear is the victim. This hate piece against men is celebrating the abuse of men by women. That's what's actually going on here. And then trying to claim that the female is the victim the whole time.
Even if that is true, if you watch the entire movie, a person generally does not develop
It isn't true. He was never the bad guy. He was always the victim.
those sorts of morals over a few weeks. If he was willing to do these things throughout the movie, it's safe to assume he probably wanted to do them here too, because he fucking
No, he didn't want to do anything. Your lies are rejected.
does. He used the word immediately very consciously because Bear doesn't immediately take advantage of her, but he does. He does eventually get into bed with Nikki, and he does eventually start kissing her. So I guess what?
She was coercing him, though, wasn't she? He was scared to death of her. So he wasn't taking advantage of anybody.
Pat on the back to Bear for giving it maybe 45 minutes before trying to fuck the girl who was not fully there. What a guy.
Okay, see, this is my point. Like, given the circumstances, Bear's being pretty normal about this, okay? Given what he does.
Yeah, I covered that already. He is being very nice. This guy was 100% on point. And because he has 4 million subs, and he actually gave voice, a pushback to this hideous hate piece, and gave voice to the common man, that's why evil people like you, Doc, are after him.
Not because of Bear. Bear doesn't stop anything. Nikki freaks out because presumably the real Nikki breaks through for a second and is able to move away. This freaks out Bear, and that's why it doesn't go anywhere. It's not like it doesn't go anywhere because Bear says, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Let's.
So, see what they're doing here? They want to make sure he never gets laid. It's a denial of intimacy of a man. And again, he's not getting what he really wants. He doesn't want it like this. Anyone who watched the movie who isn't a bold-faced liar will recognize that.
Just go to sleep. The only reason that they didn't have sex that night is because the real Nikki indirectly stopped it.
You love me more than anyone in the world?
Yes, more than anyone.
Now, okay, up to this point, I feel like Bear has plausible deniability. I mean, there's no way he would have known the cheap toy would work. He was genuinely concerned for Nikki the day after it started, and he refused to take it.
This is all begging. Begging the haters that made this trash. And people to understand. People got to stop. Guys have to stop begging people to say, look, I'm really a good guy. That ship has sailed. Men have to start turning up and saying, no, I'm not the bad guy. You're the bad guy here. You're the villain. I'm the good guy here. That's a fact. That's what men have to start doing. Matter of fact, we got to start getting together and putting a slam down on the kind of sexism and misandry that's on this platform.
Advantage of her even when it was presented to him, right? I mean, she kissed him after all, right? Now, right here, though, at the halfway point of the movie, he does finally start to realize that the wish actually worked. But even then, literally every rom-com is about trying to find a way to get the other person to like you, or you manufacture a meet cute or whatever, right? I've seen some internet comment threads where it's he only saw her as an object and wanted to remove her autonomy. That's why he made that wish. But
oh, by the way, Doc, that again is a female thing. Women only see men as objects. They don't marry men for the person the guy is. They want to make sure he has wealth and fame. Wealth especially. Women buy, or I should say, select men for their status. So what men get accused of is actually what women do to us.
Like, he didn't wish that she would do whatever he wanted, or I wish that she would become obsessed with me and me only. He specifically wished that Nikki would love him more than anyone, which is literally what everyone who's ever had a crush wants. Like, every
Exactly. Exactly. So this is why people got pissed off. He called it out. Doc, this is what you want for yourself. All the women in the world want the same thing. So all this is saying is that men shouldn't be allowed any kind of fulfillment or contentment. This is a man-hating film. This is a propaganda piece that needs to be expunged.
single fanfic about, like, golly gee, I sure wish One Direction would kidnap me and fall in love with me all at the same time. Like, as if half the girls who saw this movie haven't wished the exact same thing before.
Okay.
There you go. Did he ever call it out? This is why you haters, you sexist subhumans are after this guy.
So even when he finally starts to admit that there's a point where Bear realizes that the wish worked, he somehow still finds a way to be like, oh, well, I mean, there's probably women who want...
Dude, enough of this horse shit. I'm not going through your lying sack of a video any further. We all know that Bear actually searched for a way to free her and found out he had to give his very life to do so. So the film is saying not only do men not deserve love, but you should kill yourself. This film is urging suicide. That's another reason why it should be expunged. Now, I don't need to call out any further because, again, it's just going to be me saying over and over again or pointing out that you're a liar, that you're a sexist. And that's why you guys, again, drove this guy off the internet, or at least into silence. He hasn't made a video for 9 days now, and who knows how long they'll last. He's hoping it'll go away. I'm telling him it will not go away. It will not go away. Because the feminist agenda is the boot that's stomping on the face perpetually, the male face. They want total control. They want to silence any voice of a man who doesn't follow their hateful narrative. And I think that's all we need to say, and I'm ending it here.